Where we build a nation. I say, where we build a nation together. Come, where we build a nation together.
Come, I say, come, brothers and sisters, let we build a nation together. Brothers and sisters, I begging you, come. Come, let us build Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique together. I want to welcome you to the hub. We're off to a late start, but that was intentional. I was trying to put together a particular piece of clip for the program tonight. I want to encourage the people on Facebook and YouTube to please share the live. Those on Vibes 101.3 FM and 106.3 FM, welcome. I want to start off tonight by playing a piece that MTV brought on the news tonight from Emlyn Pay, because I think it is important for us to scrutinize the NNP's position on the new hospital and what Emlyn Pay is saying regarding this whole hospital project. She is the so-called leader of the New National Party. We heard from Keith Mitchell, so we know that the NNP is against this new project, Project Polaris, this new hospital facility. But we want to dive deeper into Emlyn Pay's position and the party's position altogether. So I want to play that piece for you first, and then we would converse further, because I think it is important.
Opposition leader Emlyn Pay says she declined an invitation to attend the Project Polaris groundbreaking ceremony, citing unanswered questions and concerns over the multi-million-dollar healthcare initiative. Details in this report.
The opposition leader, Emlyn Pay, has confirmed that she received an official invitation to attend Friday's groundbreaking ceremony for Project Polaris, but made the decision to decline, along with other members of the opposition New National Party. Pay says the move was deliberate, citing a lack of transparency and insufficient information from government regarding the multi-million-dollar initiative, which is expected to cost in excess of $200 million. She maintains that key questions surrounding the scope, financing, and long-term sustainability of the project remained unanswered.
I publicly stated that I was not going to be participating until there were certain questions about this particular project that was answered, and to date they're not. And I stood on the ground of principle, the team stood on the ground of principle that you don't do this to the nation. You don't speak in very broad terms on things that are so critical with such serious financial implications and just expect everyone to go along.
According to the opposition leader, they are still awaiting clear responses, noting that government has not been forthcoming with the details needed to justify such a significant investment. Pay further argues that while millions have already been spent on the project, there are more pressing issues within the healthcare system that requires urgent attention, including the consistent availability of essential medical supplies.
Question about the priority of the government. I mean, just look at the fencing. You know, one might want to ask, what was the cost of that? And could that have been used for something more immediate?
You see, when people become too negative, they will criticize anything just to make you believe that the thing is bad or the thing is not good or there is some problem here. If you have a construction site, if you're about to construct a project or a building, right? You're about to do a project, you're about to construct a building, you must fence it to protect people who are passing. Remember, this is close to a road. So vehicles, you don't want projectiles, you don't want nothing from that property or that project to hit anybody or to, and even if you're doing a construction, a house construction with a reputable company, you must fence with plywood that particular site. And you may have security on that site, a number of things. So even that, this woman is finding fault with. So they did this ply fence. That's kind of normal. You protect the site, you protect the people. So even that, this woman is finding fault with. So yes, we know the NNP don't want to see a new hospital in this country. But when you go so low as to criticize the fencing erected to protect the public, one, and the motorist, and also to protect the people on the site, they're about to start a major project on that site. Heavy equipment and so on and so forth. Come on, Emlyn, that you would go solo to criticize that and the cost, and that could have gone. So what you want them to do? To have an open site and not protect it? Not have fencing, with the plywood or galvanized. Some people would put galvanized. Some would put the ply. The ply is a bit cheaper. But come on.
Forthcoming with the details needed to justify such a significant investment. Pear further argues that while millions have already been spent on the project, there are more pressing issues within the healthcare system that requires urgent attention, including the consistent availability of essential medical supplies.
Question about the priority of the government. I mean, just look at the fencing. One might want to ask, what was the cost of that? And could that have been used for something more immediate? So when people go to the medical center right now, persons who have ulcers, for example, they would tell you they have to walk with their cream or their dressing. Some people have to go to actually buy gauze to go there. Question is, why are we spending $25 million before a project even gets started? Could that go into primary health care?
Folks, the money that she's speaking about, that was to purchase the property. Because remember, the government spent about $15 million up front to purchase the property. I think the property is either 20 or 25 or $30 million. So the government had to put down a certain amount of money to get the property, to secure the property. So they had to pay, I think, about 15 or 16 or so million dollars. And then, you have to do drawings, you have to do tests, you have to do quite a number of things. Get the experts in. And so it required a certain amount of money to be spent up front. That's kind of common sense. All right? You need the land, you need certain things in, you need to have the experts in place, you have to test this, you have to do this, drawings, a whole pile of stuff. It's like, God, man, they complain too much. They're just too negative.
Could that go into addressing more critical issues?
Adds that the former administration had shifted its focus from constructing a major hospital to developing a network of polyclinics aimed at delivering more accessible and cost-effective healthcare services, particularly for residents in rural communities.
Under the New National Party, there were serious discussions about a new hospital, but we took a...
Okay, so there were serious discussions about a new hospital. So they just discuss a new hospital.
Policy position.
She's saying that they took a policy position.
that must never be the top priority.
Who calling me there? Hello?
Kim, you're not live
Yeah.
on Facebook.
Hello?
Boy.
I'm not live on Facebook?
Nah,
You sure?
you honestly. Check it as
My friend is saying I'm not live on Facebook. As far as I know, I am live on Facebook. So something is wrong from your end. I am actually live on Facebook. All right. And I have 414 people looking at me live on Facebook. All right. So maybe you could check your end and try not to disturb me next time. All right. Good.
The top priority, and as you saw, we were rolling out polyclinics
Right.
where we
She said, well, we changed our policy. Instead of building a new hospital, we focus on rolling out polyclinics. I want Emlyn to tell me. She said, polyclinics. All right. The only polyclinic that the NNP built was the one in Guelph, St. John. And if I am correct, it was something that was secured under the NDC. That I stand to be corrected, but I somewhat remember that under the NDC, this whole thing started or conceptualized or was done under the former NDC administration. Right? But the only polyclinic, so even if they completed the polyclinic, the only polyclinic that was actually done was the one in Guelph. And I could, I stand to be corrected, but I could recall that that particular polyclinic was one that either started under the NDC or the NDC secured the funding for it. I stand to be corrected, but I think it was something like that. So this woman concocting a story, coming up with this kind of story that they shifted from building a new hospital to focusing on polyclinics. Let me repeat and let me play what she said again, because she can't fool me. She can't fool me.
something more immediate. So when people go to the medical center right now, persons who have ulcers, for example, they would tell you they have to walk with their cream or their dressing. Some people have to go to actually buy gauze to go there. Question is, why are we spending $25 million before a project even gets started? Could that go into primary health care? Could that go into addressing more critical issues?
Adds that the former administration had shifted its focus from constructing a major hospital to developing a network of polyclinics aimed at delivering more accessible and cost-effective healthcare services, particularly for residents in rural communities.
Under the New National Party, there were serious discussions about a new hospital, but we took a policy position that must never be the top priority. The top priority, and as you saw, we were rolling out polyclinics.
Right.
Where we
as you saw, we were rolling out polyclinics. Polyclinics. But somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. The Guelph Polyclinic, it was started, either the NDC secured the financing for that particular project, or it was started under the NDC and completed because NDC was voted out of office in 2013. They lost the election and the NNP came into power and they completed that polyclinic in St. John. Right? So someone is saying to me, hey, it was started under the NDC with Minister Church. I think so because I am from Grand Roy and St. John. Grand Roy is not far from Guelph. And I can recall vividly, because I was actually Michael Church campaign manager, right? And I remember even during that campaign, it was talked about. So it's not an NNP thing. But here it is. She talking about polyclinics. Can you tell me, besides Guelph, even if you completed the polyclinic in Guelph, what other polyclinic you actually did? I really want to know, because she could only fool certain people. Because the government, the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell and his team, they visited those medical stations. They actually visited those medical stations to see the condition of those medical stations and to renovate them, to upgrade them, to fix them. They started fixing a number of them. I think Snell Hall, they fix the Victoria Medical Station, they fix the Good Hope Medical Station, they fix the Wester Hall Medical Station, they fix, and they have signed about 3 or 4 contracts to start another 4 or 5, but it's about 21 of them that they're working on. So they visited to watch the condition, but this is the condition of those medical stations.
Such as medical, I will use the word complex because we've got the environmental health, we've got the main medical station, we've got the nurses' quarters, and what used to be the maternity ward. This is the one of the stops that we are making today at visiting all of the medical stations.
As the Prime Minister said there, what used to be the maternity ward up there in Certez, that all shut down and everything shut down in that particular facility. So we know they can't lie to ordinary Grenadians. Maybe they might fool their supporters.
Some of the medical stations in St. Andrew and St. Patrick and St. David, the intention is to make sure that we can quickly ramp up repair, renovation and improvement work on these clinics that we're visiting. We came ourselves to see the condition that the nurses, our citizens, the patients, doctors are working in. The aim is to make sure that under the various projects that we have.
Also, have you seen Keith Mitchell during his time as Prime Minister visited the medical stations and clinics to see the condition that the doctors and the nurses were working under? I can't recall, period. I can't.
We can galvanize action quickly to start the renovation and improvement of these various sites.
Myself, Prime Minister, Minister for Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, and members of the senior management team at the Ministry of Health, just visiting various health centers and medical stations around the country. We have 36 such centers around the country, and we basically want to get a first-hand understanding of what is laid up for us in terms of the work.
This is the condition of the medical stations. This is the condition of the medical stations that the NDC met. So all this talk about rolling out polyclinics and rolling out this and rolling out that, they could only fool their supporters. The evidence is showing otherwise. You have never prioritized healthcare. The NNP, the new National Party, has never prioritized healthcare in this country.
In terms of the work to be done, this is one of the steps taken alongside a larger agenda of transforming healthcare in Grenada, and in particular, looking at how we can strengthen primary healthcare, because it is necessary for us to ensure that the centers around the country are fit for use. What we've recognized based on the centers that we visited this morning, some are closed, some have been abandoned because of years of...
Look at, this is some of the centers, you know. This is some of the medical stations that Emlyn talking about, polyclinic, that they're rolling out polyclinics, and but you never did.
Depreciation without repairs, without renovations.
Look at this. Look at the condition of these facilities. That is what the NDC met you. And the NDC is now renovating, repairing, upgrading these facilities.
And so we have, in some cases, to do complete demolition and rebuild. Most of the centers need very, very significant repairs, renovations, as the case may be.
Today as MIT, we are here with the Ministry of Infrastructure and the Ministry of Health. And the aim today is to really work along with the two ministries to see how we can refurbish our medical centers, bring them up to speed and up to mark so that we can benefit or serve the people of our communities in a better manner.
My name is Kevin Blash and I'm the Chief Technical Officer of the Ministry of Infrastructure. We're here today making several visits with the Ministry of Health to be able to support them in improving the quality of primary healthcare facilities here in Grenada. Today is just a day for preliminary assessments, and we will do some more detailed assessments in the coming weeks just to be able to undertake the necessary works to upgrade all of the facilities we have in consideration.
I could recall our beloved Prime Minister speaking, I think, on DMs with the PM or at the Wester Hall consultation, right, where he spoke about the upgrades, what they are doing at those medical stations, and folks could go and verify and that kind of thing, because they're upgrading those medical stations, bringing it up to mark. And he gave a nice breakdown as to some of the medical stations that they've worked on so far, right? I have it somewhere around the place, but they did a number of them, and even the Honorable Philip Tellisford, right? I think he also spoke about that. The 21 medical stations that they're working on. It's a lot, but they have started the process of working on those medical stations. I know they did some work on and that's the NDC, folks. That's the NDC who did that. They did some work on the Good Hope Medical Station. They did some work on. They did some work on the Wester Hall Medical Station. They did some work on the Victoria Medical Station to upgrade it, right? Maybe I can play a little piece of that for you.
The government of Grenada has restated its commitment to ensure that health is a prioritized sector. The latest commitment was made by Honorable Adrian Thomas, who spoke on behalf of Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell during the recommissioning of the newly renovated medical station in Wester Hall on Wednesday. Prime Minister Mitchell was in St. Lucia as a special guest to celebrate that country's 44th anniversary of independence.
This administration believes in putting people first. And many of you all following the budget debates are quite aware that education, health, and agriculture were the three main sectors that the government will be concentrating on.
Right, so
of Good Hope and surrounding areas.
So that's the Wester Hall Medical Station that was upgraded, recommissioned, and now functioning nicely. And then the Good Hope Medical Station, the NDC also refurbished and commissioned that one.
Now have access to an improved health facility following 4 months of renovations to upgrade the infrastructure. At the handover ceremony on Wednesday, Health and Wellness Minister Senator Jonathan Lackrett said the renovation is part of government's mandate to improve access to health care at the community level. It is believed that the move will reduce the pressure and dependency on the General Hospital and other hospitals throughout the country.
Right.
Senator Lackrett says government's health...
Right.
With the
And
Victoria
then
Medical Station now
Victoria Medical
officially
Station
recommissioned and boasting of a more spacious waiting room,
completed that too.
comfortable doctor's office, screening and examination rooms, among other improved service areas, health practitioners and residents of St. Mark are expressing thanks to the government for seeing the project through. The residents encountered many challenges over the years with the previous building that was already in need of repair and the limited services that it provided. Senior nurse at the Victoria Medical Center.
Right, so they repaired that, the three. They also upgraded the Hillsborough Medical Station. They also upgraded the Snell Hall Medical Station. They also upgraded, there's another one that they upgraded, the Mount Reach Medical Station, the Granborough Medical Station. They did some work there, and they also upgrading that medical station. But it's about 21 medical stations, and that's the NDC doing that. You see, the NNP wants to steal the narrative. They want people to believe that the government is not doing anything when it comes to the current state of healthcare. That is what they want you to believe. But they know that the government is doing a lot of work. So the amount of medical stations that the government is working on. So you hear Emmeline talking about polyclinic and polyclinic. This woman is a pathological liar, in my belief. But it sickens me because she knows better. She knows better. The NDC came into power and the hospital kitchen, the kitchen at the hospital was non-existent. They had a little corner, they were cooking something for people, and the NDC came in and they did a brand new kitchen.
The state-of-the-art kitchen at the General Hospital, which had been closed for a couple of years for major upgrades, is now fully operational with modern equipment, improved food safety systems, and expanded meal preparation capabilities. The upgraded facility includes enhanced refrigeration and storage units and energy-efficient cooking stations. Hospital administrators say the revamped kitchen will ensure patients receive fresh, nutritious, and tailored meals, an essential element of recovery and overall health outcomes. Minister for Health, Honorable Philip Telesford, emphasized the government's commitment to investing in healthcare infrastructure that directly benefits patients.
So this is our opportunity to utilize the equipment, the environment, the human resources available to us, and the ingredients to deliver healing properties to the patients. We are on a mission to transform healthcare in Grenada. And the opening of this kitchen today is part of this mission, outfitting it with the best available equipment, creating the right environment for you, the staff, to work, is part of that mission.
Acting Director of Hospital Services, Hannah St. Paul, emphasized the importance of this interrogation.
We all know that good nutrition is a vital component of our healthcare, and this kitchen stands as a beacon of our dedication to that important principle. We are embarking on a new chapter filled with opportunities to nourish our patients, support our...
So this hospital, the General Hospital, they didn't really have a kitchen that they can really call a kitchen to provide the meals required for the patients and so on. The NDC came into power and the NDC make sure that they got a brand new state-of-the-art kitchen for the hospital. So when Emlyn talking, you see, sometimes you have to go with the facts. It is easy to talk, very easy to say stuff. We also know that the NDC administration had 2 ambulances and then subsequently, I think 1 or 2 after, that they brought on stream that they got for the hospital.
On Wednesday, 2nd April 2025, the Ministry of Health officially commissioned 2 fully loaded 4x4 ambulances designed to improve our medical emergency response service. Valued at nearly $1 million EC, the state-of-the-art emergency vehicles were placed at the General and Princess Alice hospitals, respectively, following a short ceremony held in St. George's. In addressing the gathering, Health Minister Honorable Philip Telesford described the ambulances as vital investments and shared responsibility.
Yeah, so 2 ambulances, all right, handed over Princess Alice and the General Hospital. And then subsequently some vehicles and other things were given to them. So when Emlyn talking, the evidence does not back that up. The evidence does not back it up. And I'm saying we need to call on Emlyn to provide facts, evidence. Don't just talk. Don't just talk. We need evidence.
The advanced digital X-ray technology promises a multitude of benefits.
In Carriacou, the NDC just installed an advanced X-ray machine, digital X-ray machine for the people of Carriacou.
Both medical professionals and residents in the community of Carriacou and Petite Martinique. The new equipment delivers higher resolution images with a significantly lower radiation dose. making procedures safer for patients. It will also enable radiologists and doctors to receive results more quickly and accurately, allowing for faster and more precise diagnosis. For the hospital's clinical staff, the modern and user-friendly interface will streamline workflow and increase efficiency, reducing waiting times for patients and enhancing the overall hospital experience. Previously, the hospital's imaging capabilities had been non-functional for several years, creating a major gap in the facility's offerings. The reintroduction of this vital service with modern equipment will ensure that Princess Royal Hospital remains relevant and effective in an evolving medical landscape. Saskia Freitas-Smith, IAE representative for 8 Caribbean countries.
Yeah, so right now, they have a state-of-the-art X-ray machine, digital X-ray machine in Carriacou. They never had that there before. No. And only recently, the Honorable Philip Telford went up to Carriacou as recent as March the 24th. That's a couple of days ago, where the new lab, there's a new lab or new lab services and facility upgrades in Carriacou and PT Martinique. So a new era of healthcare is dawning for the Sister Isles as Minister of Health Philip Telford announced major milestones in the reconstruction and enhancement of our local medical services, right? Leading a high-level delegation, including because they're going to set up a new lab up there. The building, I think, they already identified and did some work on, and it's looking speak and spank. All right. Healthcare team visited Carriacou and PT Martinique also, where they have that clinic, and then Mount Pleasant Clinic. We can just go on and on and on, right? They've done a lot of work in Carriacou and the PT Martinique. But I pray and hope that the Ministry of Health will do video reporting of all the things that are taking place. They have been doing a good job, but we need to see more. And GIS need to become more proactive, right? They need to be on the ball, have people thinking ahead to go and capture the many projects in health, in education, in agriculture, and do small pieces and post it, publish it, share it, so we can share it with the public, because there is a war being waged by the opposition where they're putting out a lot of disinformation and misinformation and lies, and how we can put them to sleep or debunk them. And I've been doing a fantastic job with that because I have the data, I have the video evidence, right? Visual aid to provide to the public to add credibility to what I'm saying. But I need GIS to do their work and become more proactive. If you look at GIS news, few people look at it, right? They publish stuff and few people look at it. So what I'm saying, produce it and share it, so we can share it with our audience, so they can see what's going down. Just as I have an archive of quite a number of things in health, education, and so on, there are few programs in Grenada who have what I have and what I do, because I dedicate my time to researching and looking for materials and bringing it to the public to debunk all the lies from the NNP. So again, I think GIS and the PR persons in those different ministries, you need to become more proactive to highlight the good things that the government is doing. And you can share it. It doesn't have to be long. It could be 1 minute, 2 minutes. Just share it. That is important, especially now as NNP and the others, they're out there with a lot of lies and misinformation. So health is on the rise. And I say this because the evidence is there to show. The evidence is there to show.
Digitalization is now at the forefront of Grenada's healthcare transformation.
I told you about the digitalizing of the records and so on, of patients and so on. I told you about that. It's no longer the paper. You have to fight through some paper to get information.
Minister for Health Philip Telesford announced that the Ministry of Health has implemented a fully paperless health record system, marking a significant upgrade in how patient information is managed across the island. The minister, who hosted Tuesday's DMs with the PM, noted that the new paperless system is designed to improve efficiency within healthcare facilities, enhance patient confidentiality, and reduce the risk of human error often associated with manual record keeping.
Holistic manner to be able to answer the question of us being able to interlink between the various departments and various service areas. And so that needs assessment has already been completed, and we are in the process of procuring the software. The ICD-10 that we currently use, we are now graduating towards ICD-11, and that is a paperless system for international disease control. So when patients are treated at the hospital, it is being done in a paperless environment.
Minister Telesford emphasized the initiative forms part of the government's ongoing commitment to strengthening the healthcare sector and ensuring that citizens receive quality medical services.
International disease control. So when patients are treated at the hospital, it is being done in a paperless environment. So now it creates some efficiencies in the system. It adds to confidentiality.
The transition to ICD-11 and a paperless system places Grenada in alignment with modern international health standards, positioning the country to better respond to current and emerging public health challenges.
Yes. So that again is very, very important. So when Emlyn talking, we need to be able to put the evidence right in their face and say, hey, you're just talking, but we have the evidence.
8 physicians who recently graduated from St. George's University has completed their internship program and are now employed as house officers at the hospital. Speaking at this week's Senate sitting, Minister for Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs, Senator Jonathan Lacrette, said this is a big win for Grenada's health sector.
So we had 8 doctors who joined the service under the NDC, and then I think an additional 3. Right? It's about what? It's about 9 or 10 of them working in the hospital and medical stations and so on. Then you have some specialist doctors from Nigeria. I think it's about 6 or 9, somewhere thereabout, that were brought in to augment or to help. And then we have 30 Grenadians who are studying to become medical doctors that the government actually sponsored, gave us sponsorship. So SG was given about 6. So the opening was for 6, the government to get 6 Grenadians to pursue the medical degree and become doctors. But the government decided we need to have more doctors, and they decided to sponsor 30, give scholarships to 30. Not 6, 30. And then you have about 81 nurses doing that nursing program at St. George's University. And the government, again, is pumping hundreds of thousands of dollars to make that a reality.
Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell has announced a partnership between government and the St. George's University to enroll 30 Grenadian students in medical programs. The scholarship, designated for qualified candidates, are intended to expand opportunities for advanced education and training in medicine. PM Mitchell emphasized that the initiative forms part of broader efforts to boost access to higher education and strengthen Grenada's healthcare workforce.
Myself and the Minister of Education only last week called the Chancellor of St. George's University when we discovered that there were approximately 30 Grenadian students who have met the criteria for entry into the medicine program. The school told us we only have about 4 spaces for scholarships. Only 4. But we have 30 students who have met the admission criteria. We called the Chancellor, we spoke to him, and we said to him, we want all 30 of the Grenadian students on scholarship at St. George's University. And myself and the Minister of Education and your cabinet will work to ensure that happens.
Highlighting the need for local-grown medical experts on the island, the PM said government is committed to ensure many young Grenadians achieve their dreams.
Because we need our doctors. We need our nurses. So I want you to understand that we would not have gone to Ghana to import nurses if we were in a position to provide all of it immediately. It takes time to study and to train.
Yeah, so that's a very valuable point. Because remember, Grenada had the TAMCC School of Nursing, where an ordinary Grenadian with the passion, with the love to become a nurse could have easily signed up with TAMCC and receive the training and become a nurse right here in Grenada. And then they would sit the regional exam to become an RN, a registered nurse. And 99% of them would pass that exam in a big way. I remember when I was working at the National Disaster Management Agency, I was asked, or assigned, not asked, assigned, the task of going to the TAMCC School of Nursing and lecture there for a period of time on, certain components of their training, first aid, EMT to a certain extent, the basic mass casualty, that kind of thing. Disaster management, generally, a comprehensive disaster management, doing drills and so on. So I was present. I went to that facility at just above the hospital. That's where they were training. I also went, when they moved to the stadium, I also went to the stadium to facilitate, to lecture, to do that component, right? Or that module or that section of the training. And I'm talking about 50, 60, 70 nurses graduating and, doing the course and completing it. I also remember going or being assigned to go to SGU when they just started that community health nursing course, where persons were earning that first degree, the first degree in nursing. And I was asked to do the drills and mass casualty and other things like that, that component of that, right, at the university, St. George's University. And I remember the professor, came up to me and said, well, Kem Jones, man, I think you should be the one responsible for this particular module, this particular section of the training and the course. I said, nah, man. But then we had a little chat. And he said, government did a really bad thing in closing down the TAMCC School of Nursing. And I said, why? He said, to enter that program at the university, you need some money, right? But the TAMCC School of Nursing afforded any Grenadian, and it was indigenous to Grenadians. So it was a Grenadian thing. No one could have come from anywhere because they had money and just enter and become a nurse. You had to be Grenadian. You had to be here. So you had a lot of nurses coming through that program. But the NNP shut that thing down. The NNP shut the TAMCC School of Nursing down. And that is why our beloved Prime Minister is saying, well, if we had nurses, we didn't have to go to Ghana and get nurses to come to work here in our system is because we don't have. Under the NNP, they never did anything to make sure that you retain the nurses because they were calling them all kind of thieves and all kind of, they insulted them and so on. When the NDC came in power, they gave the nurses $500 more in their salary. They gave the doctors $1,000 more in their salary. That is important, right? But the NNP, they closed the Tom CC School of Nursing down. They shut the thing down. So all the talk about healthcare, you ask Emlyn Pear, why did the NNP administration shut the Tom CC School of Nursing down? Why they close it down? When you had hundreds of young people graduating and becoming nurses over a 5-year period. I could recall the statistics was very impressive. Over a 5-year period or 4-year period, there was over 100 Grenadians who graduated and became nurses, qualified nurses. Thankfully, the NDC, they continue to support places like Labokan to train nursing assistants and so on, right? Which is really good. Only recently, I think 10 new healthcare assistants or nursing assistants graduated, and they would be, going straight into the medical or the hospital system.
The Labukan Creative Center on Thursday hosted a graduation ceremony at its GCNA facility on Lagoon Road, St. George's, celebrating the achievements of participants in the Healthcare Assistance Program. 10 graduates, Andrin Bishop, Cherian Noel, Cheryl Tillock, Jude Charles, Kishona Alexander, Chanel Pierre, Shadia Andrews, Cheryl Halal Batiste, Tanisha Collins and Whitney Richardson were awarded certificates in recognition of the successful completion of the program. Labukan Creative Center is a non-profit training institution dedicated to developing, preserving and presenting the creative arts and culture of Grenada's Tri-Island state. The center delivers its programs through a creative learning environment that uses drama in education as a core teaching method. During the ceremony, manager of the Labukan Creative Center, Raquel Stewart, provided an overview of the Healthcare Assistance Program.
The Healthcare Assistant Program at Labukan Training Center is a 1-year program designed to prepare students with the knowledge, skills, and professional attitude required to deliver safe, compassionate, and effective care within the health system. This program combines structured classroom instructions with vigorous clinical experience, ensuring that students are not only academically prepared, but also confident and competent in real healthcare environments. Throughout the training, students were exposed to the main wards at the General Hospital, as well as specialized areas, including mental health facilities, geriatric home, and community health centers. These placements allow students to gain first-hand experience working with diverse patient population and healthcare teams.
That is really good, right? So nursing assistants, they are needed, not just the registered nurse or nurses, but nursing assistants. They're very, very important. So the government is pumping a lot of resources into some of these not-for-profit organizations, particularly this one, training nursing assistants, which is fantastic. Bravo, bravo, bravo. So again, we must put forward the evidence. You see, Emlyn Pear could talk. For the first time, the hospital has a mammogram system in place, equipment to help women diagnose very early anything to do with their breast, any cancer, any lump, anything of that sort, they can get early diagnosis.
For the first time, Grenada's public healthcare system is now...
You could imagine that? For the first time, NNP talking about healthcare. For the first time, we have this in Grenada, where this goodly gentleman with partnership with the Ministry of Health decided to donate such a modern piece of equipment to help our women for the first time. You could imagine that?
Furnished with mammogram equipment that includes biopsy capability, following the official handing over of the machinery to the General Hospital from the U.S. radiologist Dr. Randy Becker. With breast cancer being the leading cause of cancer-related deaths in Grenada, the equipment is expected to significantly aid in the early detection of breast cancer. The handover ceremony took place last Friday. Dr. Becker says the machinery will aid radiologists in real-time management of complex breast examinations.
We have what's called a 3D hologic dimensions mammography tomosynthesis. And all those words mean is that instead of looking at the breast tissue in 2D planes, we can actually look at it at 3D planes. And why is that helpful? That's helpful because we can detect very small, earlier cancers. We can determine when areas that we thought before were suspicious are no longer suspicious and prevent additional radiation, prevent unnecessary biopsies. So now, the only place on the island of Grenada that has 3D tomography mammosynthesis is right there in that hallway. We also have a stereotactic biopsy system. We tried this week to potentially, we scanned about 40 patients this week. We looked into potentially trying to do a biopsy on one of the patients. And we felt that, let's move slow, let's be careful, and we'll continue to screen patients for mammography and then maybe bring back the team and do a week of training under the biopsy system. But now we have the ability to actually biopsy a suspicious microcalcification or nodule that we see that day. And if the patient is here, we can keep that patient, whether it's a male or female, in our hospital right here and provide that service. And not only can we provide that service, we can actually image the specimen there afterwards. And why is that helpful? Because that way we can determine whether or not we have all the breast tissue, we have all the suspicious microcalcifications, and a patient won't need any unnecessary excisional biopsies or additional surgeries.
Improving access to women's health care and screening services in Grenada is an important health initiative for the country. Dr. Linwall Fleury, head of radiology department.
Yes, so this is great. This is fantastic. So Emlyn is talking because what NNP and Emlyn, what they want you to believe is that nothing is happening. That is what they want you to believe.
A significant step toward advancing healthcare in Grenada was marked on Tuesday, March 17th, with the hosting of a signing ceremony at the General Hospital. The initiative, led by the Ministry of Health in collaboration with the University of South Florida, is aimed at strengthening the island's surgical capacity, particularly in the areas of laparoscopy and endoscopy. Health officials say the partnership will support specialized training, knowledge exchange, and the introduction of modern surgical techniques for local medical professionals.
Collaboration in healthcare is more than just a contract. It's a covenant of trust, a shared belief that together we can save and transform lives. Today, Grenada embraces this covenant with confidence, excitement, and hope for generations to come.
Minister for Health Honorable Philip Tellisford highlighted the importance of the collaboration in improving healthcare services and building long-term capacity within the country's medical system. Dr. Teron Hosten, head of the Department of Surgery at the General Hospital, says the initiative is expected to significantly enhance patient care by improving diagnostic accuracy and enabling less invasive surgical procedures.
Today it's historical because basically we are accustomed to missions. And we might have a team who would come in, do a week with us and leave. But this time it's different. So when we met, we spoke with Dr. Debunking that was last year. We really were surprised to know that someone would donate such a fabulous gift as the amount that they did, And then we were wondering, what can we do with it? I remember that first meeting we had, Dr. Donald and myself. And we were looking at something that would be sort of perpetual, meaning not just a mission of a week, then they go away, you know. So lo and behold, we came up with decisions, and here we are now.
Professor of Surgery at the University of South Florida, Dr. Christopher Ducoin, also reaffirmed the university's commitment to supporting Grenada's healthcare sector through ongoing partnership and training opportunities.
To give an overview, my wife said, "Don't make this about yourself." I mean, I can't. This is way bigger than me, but I have to tell stories. It's kind of who I am, and it's how I kind of get my points. When I came here 20 years ago with just an idea, I never really thought I'd be back like this. But there's something that happens. You have an idea, a concept, a mission, and it starts sometimes as a little tiny seed. And that tiny seed has the potential to grow into a tree. And that tree has the ability to cast a shadow or shade for someone else in the future. And I'm not sure if that little seed that planted in my brain is now a tree today, or maybe a little fig, but I know it's going to grow into something mighty.
Yes, so this is significant. This is big. But you would not hear Emlyn and them talk about that. They critical, they all about doom and gloom, anything to make government look bad. That is what they love, that is what they will talk about. But you see, if she was truthful, then it's something else. But she's not truthful. And that is why I'm using all of this evidence to say to you that the healthcare system is on the up. They're improving every single day.
Yeah, it is big. This is a massive day for the people of Grenada because we are able to forge a very strong partnership with Mount Sinai Hospital. Just imagine us being able to tap into over 40,000 of their staff, of their professionals, who are able to lend the support in so many different areas here in Grenada. So this is transformative for us. It is a lot of doing to get us here, but I think it is a big deal for us here in Grenada. I look forward to working with the Mount Sinai team and Project Polaris to see the transformation of healthcare here in Grenada. This is great for us as a people, and I think we need to grab it with both hands and make the most of it. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and it is not just transforming healthcare, it is transforming all of Grenada through the other economic spill-off, through training for people, development and skill sets and all of that. And so I think it's going to be really good being able to put another $250 million into the economy. I think it's going to be great for us as a people. So we just need to harness all of this and make the most of it as a people so that we can move.
Kudos to you, the Honorable Philip Telesford. You're doing a fantastic job, my brother. Keep it up. Keep it up. You're doing a fantastic job. All right. So that's the agreement with Mount Sinai, one of the best hospitals in the world. And they started training and equipping the staff, and that's what you want.
My name is Esther John Charles, and I've been working at the General Hospital for the past 36 years. I am manager for medical and the ophthalmology department. This initiative seems to be a very bold one. For us in Grenada, the collaboration will benefit us as a smaller population. Because of our staffing situations and personnel, we have not been able to improve in our revision of policies and procedures as we would like to. We have started that some years ago, so with Mount Sinai here, they assess all of this and we are on the right path. So we just have to continue to strengthen what we're already doing, and we'll continue to improve in the areas that we are lagging behind. One of the training needs that was provided was that of for efficiency and communication. So they have these 3-tier hurdles that we as different departments can use every day to evaluate yesterday's performance, see where we need to improve. To be honest, it gives the feeling that something is happening. And from administrative point of view, we are always looking to improve, especially in nursing, always doing improvement in ways to help enhance our service and help staff development. And most importantly, we want to help build this confidence with our teams.
Yeah, so this nurse has been there for 36 years working, serving Grenada. You telling me that this nurse gonna tell lies? Sister Esther John Charles, 36 years in the system, and she's telling you that the system is improving, things are happening, and that's good for the staff, it's good for the patients, it's good for Grenada. This nurse has been there for 36 years, working as a nurse, and she's telling you this. You believe she's going to lie to us? I mean, come on. Come on. Come on, people. You heard from Dr. Abigail Noel.
My name is Dr. Abigail Noel, and I am the head of department at the Accident and Emergency Department, also known as Casualty. As head of department, I am responsible for coordination, and I'm also responsible for training of staff. Training of staff is to enhance our staff, not just in the medical, but also in personal well-being. We have been working along with Mount Sinai since November, and in that time, we have had such a great experience with the Mount Sinai team. One thing I love about Mount Sinai is their spirit of collaboration. They came in with ideas that we were able to discuss, and we were able to implement them. There are so many processes that they have implemented here, especially in the emergency department, that have transformed our department in real time. One of the things that I would mention is the implementation of ID bands for every patient that comes through the emergency department. So once you get in here, once you're triaged by the triage nurse at the front, you receive an identification band. And as we can imagine, that has decreased patient errors, have decreased errors in identification of patients. Because here in the emergency department, not everyone comes in able to talk or able to give information. So having an identification band on each patient has really helped us improve patient care and decrease errors. Another process that they have implemented is defibrillators on every ward, including the emergency department. Defibrillators basically are those machines that you would see on TV where they shock people. We have those on every ward. We have also started training staff in how to adequately utilize these machines. Thus far, 128 staff members have been trained in defibrillator use, and this includes Grenada and Carrico. Mount Sinai has implemented a huddle system. It is a system that I have had experience in because I had experience working with Mount Sinai in Guyana. The huddle system is basically a small meeting, like a 15-minute meeting with all team members. And when I say all team members, I mean security guards, receptionists, maids, nurses, doctors, everyone who is on duty in the department at the time, drivers, very important. They come in for a mini 15-minute check-in where we discuss any issues to patient flow from their prior shift, and also not just issues, but also compliments, great things that happened on the shift. One of the advantages of huddle that I have seen in our department is that it improves communication between staff members as well as with patients. And also staff members have a sense of confidence. They feel seen, they feel heard, and they understand that their role is important. This transformation means everything to the emergency department and by extension, the health system. They are giving us the tools and the knowledge so that we can accelerate, that we can fix our problems, and then the systemic issues, they would be resolved over time. But we are resolving our issues internally, and I've seen a great improvement, especially in the emergency department, and I expect that we are going to improve even more, and I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, and look, this is a nurse who worked with Mount Sinai before in Guyana, as she said, and she can tell you that major improvements are happening within the various departments. That is testimony. I'm saying, you see, it's easy to condemn, it's easy to criticize, it's easy to see all kinds of stuff. But let's look at the evidence. 5000 eyeglasses, 50,000 eyeglasses will be arriving here soon.
I'm here with Ms. Keisha Maguire, a well-known Grenadian and from a well-known Grenadian family, who is one of the principal officers of a not-for-profit entity known as Restoring Vision. And the aim of Restoring Vision is literally what it says, to help persons who suffer from nearsighted, well, lack of near vision, to be able to restore that vision through being provided with glasses. Restoring Vision and the government of Grenada is currently reviewing a memorandum of understanding whereby we going to be blessed with 50,000 glasses being delivered to Grenada in the next month. We are anticipating in the month of May, to be able to allow citizens of Grenada who suffer from lack of near vision to have the ability to have it corrected. So I first want to extend my own personal appreciation to Ms. Maguire. This is something she dreamt upon her own and then approached me to support, and of course I was more than delighted to be able to support it. The cabinet has already approved the entry by the government into the MOU, and we're just sort of finalizing language. We see this as a perfect example of what a Grenadian in the diaspora can do, and how, let's think of the numbers, 50,000. It's an opportunity to impact the lives of 50,000 persons who may have the challenge of lack of near vision. So thank you, Ms. Maguire. She's also here in person. She didn't just speak to me virtually. She came down. That's testimony to how much she is keen to make sure this gets off the ground in Grenada. So I want to thank her. I want to thank Restoring Vision, and perhaps we can ask her to say a few words about Restoring Vision, the inspiration and passion for doing this. And we look forward to this being an amazing success, not just for Grenada, but hopefully it's an opportunity for the rest of the OECS and the wider Caribbean to benefit from as well.
I'm Keisha Maguire, the Chief Global Affairs Officer for Restoring Vision, and we are focused on the largest cause of avoidable vision impairment, which is a condition called presbyopia, which is, as the Prime Minister rightly said, the loss of your near vision. Just to give you a stat, in the world, globally, over 1.1 billion people have treatable or avoidable vision impairment. And of that 1.1 billion, presbyopia is 826 million. So that's over 80% of the cause of avoidable vision, and it's treatable. And it's easily treatable by a very inexpensive glasses, and we commonly know it as reading glasses, but when you think of it, it's not just for you to be able to read, it's anything that requires near vision, whether it is needlework, whether it is elderly folks reading medical labels. So there's, it's not just affecting your life, but it's also affecting your safety and livelihood. So there's more stats that I can give you, but it is loss of near vision and vision in general has a real effect in terms of the productivity and economic loss of governments, and affects the GDP. So we're very happy to be here, and I again want to thank the Prime Minister for not only receiving the idea, but being a leader and a champion and moving it forward. As he said, this is something we want to bring into the Eastern Caribbean. We operate in over 150 countries. We've already delivered in our history over 40 million eyeglasses, and this will be under a Prime Ministerial Vision Initiative. So as it suggests, it's really with that sort of leadership, we can reach everyone that needs it, everyone, everywhere. So we look forward and we're excited to get this project going.
Lovely to meet you.
Yeah, and that's the difference. Our beloved Prime Minister is approachable. You can work with him. He's warm. He's humble. And you speak to leaders. You speak to business people. You speak to people near and far who encountered him. They will tell you that's the type of leader you want in a country. That's the type of leader people want to work with. So again, thumbs up there, and we look forward to this initiative rolling out in a big way. Folks, before we wrap up tonight, I want to say to you, the NNP and the pundits believe they can cause you to come to that position where you think the election is all about this candidate versus the other candidate in your constituency. The election is way more than that. So when those pundits meet and they talk, they look at candidate X and candidate Y. They may talk about the person's popularity, the person's family, and whatever. But the election is way more than that. It has all to do with leadership. They don't want it to be about leadership. So when you hear them speak, when you hear them talk about the election, it's about Alvin Dabrio versus the Honorable Kirin James, or it's about the Honorable Claudette Joseph versus the other gentleman and Peter, or it's about the Honorable Andy Williams versus whoever that other person is, or the Honorable Tevin versus the Cox guy. And that is what they want it to be. But that is not what the election is about, because a person who is a police officer who received pay and grade $700 more on his or her salary is not just looking at the person in his constituency. He's appreciative of the fact that we have a prime minister and a government who is responsive to the needs of the police officers. When you see the new police stations and new facilities and so on for police, he knows that. When that pensioner got her pension, it is not the member of parliament or the MP or the candidate in that constituency. No, it's the leader. It's about leadership. It's about the party who delivered pension for you, the 500 plus people who retired and those who will retire and will get their pension. Those unestablished workers who now, upon retirement, can get a pension and at least retire with some level of dignity. That's not about the MP in your constituency or the candidate in your constituency. No. Nope. When the free tuition for all the young people, the thousands of young people who benefited and continue to benefit from the free tuition at TAMCC and NULO, that's not because of your MP in your constituency or the candidate. It's the leadership, and the government, the party. And you look at, the minimum wage. It's not because of just your MP or your candidate in your constituency. It's the leader and the party who increased the minimum wage. And we can go on and on and on with nearly all of those things. So they want the election to be about a popularity contest between candidate X and candidate Y. But we know that it's more than that. It's way more than that. And I had a laugh because this guy who has a program on a Sunday. Well, George Grant passed away. May his soul rest in peace. And this guy thought he can be a George Grant to have a Sunday program, and people would gravitate towards his content and the program, right? So he invited Jenny Simon and Roll Titus on that program. And I laugh because they have no substance, no depth, just nonsense. And then you look at the ratings of that program. This program is in the garbage heap. Let me give you a typical example. This guy's program, in the last 10 programs, let's look at the last 10 programs that this guy hosted and the viewership, because he uses YouTube more. I think it's carried on WPG10 and I think GBN, but these are all stations with very poor views. The rating is very, very poor. Not many people view them. So it's carried there maybe once or whatever during the week or so, but it's poorly viewed. So on YouTube, on social media, so YouTube, his last 10 programs. So 4,200 people viewed his last program. 2,100 people viewed the one before. 1,000 viewed the one before that. 1,500 viewed the one before that. 1,600 people viewed the one before that. 3,000 people viewed the one before that. 7,100 people viewed the one before that. 7,000 people viewed the one before that. 2,900 people viewed the one before that. 4,800 people viewed the one before that. These are his live programs, right? His programs that he does. But if you look at the viewership, it's very low. If you want to compare it with the programs that I do, and I do 2 programs per day, he does a program on every Sunday, right? And you look at the 2 programs that I do, morning and night, just looking at the last 10 programs, 9,300 people viewed the program that I did, the last program, this morning's program, 9,300 people. That's this morning, right? The one before that, 9,100 viewed that program on Facebook. So 9,300 this morning on Facebook, 9,100 on Facebook, 9,800 on Facebook, the one before that, 8,700 people before that, 12,300 people before that, 11,000 the program before that, 10,100 the program before that, 11,300 before that, 10,800 before that, 9,900 before that. And you can go back and verify that. That's on Facebook. And if you look at YouTube, and I don't do YouTube in any big way, but the YouTube program that I did this morning, it's about 2,100 people who viewed that. The one before that, 2,000 people. The one before that, 3,300 people. The one before that, 2,400 people. The one before that, 2,200 people. The one before that, 2,200 people. The one before that, 2,400 people. The one before that, 2,800 people. The one before that, 2,700 people. The one before that, 2,800 people. But I'm saying, even on YouTube, and I don't do it in any big way, I am still matching up to the guy, right? And on Facebook, I mean, he can't see us. He's way, way down in terms of rating. And then we carry our programs on one of the most popular FM stations in Grenada for current affairs programming. Vibes 101.3 FM and 106.3 FM. Heard anywhere in Grenada and in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. So we reach a lot of people. On average, I speak to about 20,000 people per day on average. Facebook, YouTube, radio. So when these guys, they go on these programs and they talk, I sometimes just laugh. I laugh because they're nowhere in my shoes, right? And he had certain things to say, and who is this guy? Who is this guy really? And he been around in media. Outdated. People are not gravitating towards his content. And by now he should know that by looking at his numbers. because his numbers is in the bin. You look at Had Talk, Sheldon Scott again. That's another program, right? And if you look at Sheldon Scott numbers, it's very poor, terribly poor. On YouTube, Sheldon Scott's last 10 programs, 3,700 people, 3,700 people, 3,200 people, 3,700 people, 3,700, 3,600, 3,600, 3,200, 3,500, 4,200. That's on YouTube. On Facebook, 914 people, 1,400 people, 2,000 people, 1,900 people, 1,900 people, 888 people, 2,400 people, 531 people, 2,300 people. I mean, you just look at the numbers. And if you look at, as I told you about my numbers, the last program on Facebook, if you look at his Facebook, you just compare it. They're paling, they're far, far away. And they do all kind of stuff. It's called, how you call it, clickbaiting. So they have this big writing up, this big pic or whatever. So you look at it and sometimes you don't really want to look at their program, or because you see the Honorable Deacon Mitchell or you see some minister or somebody face or some big old writing, then you click. It's not that you want to listen to their program. You see? It's not like you want to follow them, but you see somebody of interest, so you click, and then you become a statistic. You're now recorded as somebody who viewed, just like Jenny's program. You have a lot of clickbaiting, as they would use on social media, meaning that she would put up the face of the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell or some minister or something, put up a big thing about whatever, and then you now going through YouTube, you might click. Or Facebook, they do a little short 1 minute, 30 seconds thing, and they throw it up, then you might click it out of curiosity because you see this. It's not that you want to listen or you want to follow them. But what I do, I have a program that is live. And for example, tonight, consistently, I had on average 800 people looking at me on Facebook and YouTube put together. On average, consistently, even up to this point, I still have 796 people looking at me on Facebook and YouTube. So two of them put together, right? I don't know how much people on Facebook looking at me, but if you check YouTube and Facebook, what I see, I would see the total number in front of me because it is being streamed concurrently on the two platforms, right? But these people stay with me until the end. They don't just pop in and they disappear. And then when you look at the after, so for example, Sheldon Scott will be on his program, Talking Points or whatever they call it, NNP thing. And you may see 600, 700 people viewing him on YouTube. But when 2 days after, 3 days after, and you go and you check that same video, you see 3,700 people viewed him in total, or 3,300 people, or 2,000 something people. So that is just what he has. It's not expanding. But for me, when I finish Facebook, for example, and I finish stream on Facebook, and you check the program tomorrow, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 people viewed the program. So people go back and they listen, they follow the program. YouTube, 2,000, 3,000 people, and that kind of thing. So on average, because we know that the radio station reaches 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 people. Don't even talk about Carriacou and P.T. Martinique or St. Andrew, St. Patrick's side. That is the station that people listen to. And when they can't get me or listen to Kim the King or the others, they wonder what's going down. All right? And our program, I don't try to share it in all kind of place. People share the program. If you go back and you look at the NNP program, they try to share it all about, and still their numbers are not going up. People are not interested in their messaging. And by now they should know that. So this guy on some Sunday program, he's in no way close to what I do, right? He's fighting to gain some kind of space in this ecosystem. But years, and he has not grown. His numbers, his viewership, his rating, all poor. And that should teach him a lesson. That should teach him a lesson. All right? And I can compare all the other programs. The current affairs program. And I do 2 programs, unlike them. I do 2 programs per day. 1 in the morning and 1 during the night. That is what is different about this. And consistently, people follow what I do. And my numbers. And mind you, I was saying to a friend, all out the NNP talking. And the Jenny talking. And what's the guy named? Sheldon Scott and all of them talking. You know, the NNP has not been able to host a successful event to date with Emlyn Pay being the leader of that party. In the diaspora, in Grenada, same thing. They have not been able to mobilize Grenadians in any big way to any of these activities. They could have backyard this, town hall this, all of those different events. Never. Period. And they don't realize that. If they, so bad, have a fundraiser, have a real fundraiser. So all of the criticizing the most honorable Deacon Mitchell and he traveling and we having fundraiser and they having fundraiser there and fundraiser. Cocktail and cocktail. You organize one now. They try to organize one in New York and it busts. Everywhere they go, even here locally, their people are not showing up for those events. I'm telling you. And even me, simple guy on the radio, I have had nearly, all my events have been successful here in Grenada, in New York, in Caribbean, everywhere. They've been successful. And if I go to Canada and I have an event there, it will be successful. If I go to the United Kingdom and I have an event there, it will be successful. It will be successful. Hundreds of people would show up. I had an event here, the Independence event. The room couldn't hold people. He had way more. I organized the 2 Ospreys to go up to Carriacou. I had to turn back 60, 70 people. I had to pay them, give them back their money. $6,000 something dollars, I had $100, give them everybody back their money because the 2 boats rammed to capacity. I used the dolly C something back ram. I had an event here at my place for my birthday. We had the live band, solid the band. The police had to come and block the whole road from all down by Roger all the way up there to see vehicle. They had to block the roundabout, the greens, block up on the top of up there for Good Hope and let the vehicles go through Good Hope. Vehicles, people. I just shut down the place, just like that. I bought the event. Kem Jones had a birthday event. Not this year because, I kind of hold it down because I'm working on my project, the studio project and so on. But the year before that, and it goes to show, if I went to Project Polaris, the launch of the groundbreaking ceremony, and everybody hugging, embrace it, that's Kem Jones. Bunks a drink, laugh, kicks, that's me. I'm authentic. You can't beat that. No matter what you try and what you do. And that's their problem. And they got to deal with that. So all the little programs, all the little things that they're doing is they're not getting anywhere. You look at the Real FM with Francis Pay and this guy talking all the stupidness on a daily basis. All you need to look at their statistics on Facebook. 525 people viewed the last program. The one before that, 668 people viewed that program. 310 people viewed them programs on Real FM. 602 people viewed that program. 689 people viewed that program. 135 people viewed that program. 622 people viewed that program. 580 people viewed that program. 466 people viewed that program. 350, they're in the hundreds, not even the thousands. And then on YouTube, 1,000 people viewed that program, the last program. The one before that, 1,600. The one before that, 3,300. The one before that, 1,400, 1,100, 1,600, 2,400, 1,700. It's just, but I mean, the guys on radio, yapping, the Francis Pay guy and all of them, they're not reaching people. They're not connecting with people. And they need to get that in their head. So many times I laugh, right? Because I would take time and look at their programs. I don't want you to look at their programs, but I do, and I gather the intelligence. I look at the statistics. I look at the numbers. I look at the people. I listen to the people who call in. Same people calling their program over and over and over. Same thing with WeFM. Same people calling every morning over and over and over, right? Talking nonsense. And may I say to you, I was informed that the Honorable Andy Williams and the Honorable Claudia Joseph, they don't give this woman any information. The woman who calls and yap, and she's obsessed with this hospital and the old hospital and who this and who that, and she has all kind of bad, dirty things to say about our beloved Prime Minister. The hatred is obvious. They don't give this woman information. She goes on because they distance themselves away from this woman. They don't want to be around this, But she goes on certain thing and she get little information of little promo that they having, and then she calls that program, making people believe that she calling those MPs and calling maybe before, but they distance themselves somehow. The two of them, they don't want to see this woman. Boy, I tell you. So she calls every day. So the cadre of callers, same old, complaining, grinding, groaning, same old, every morning, every day. They're not growing. So you just have to look, the DMs with the PM, that has overtaken all of them. Although it's a once per week program, but it the viewership, the everything. You don't need to be a genius to understand what's going on. But folks, I want to wish you all the best. Remember, New York, big things are going on in New York on May the 16th. Our beloved Prime Minister will be there, and I will be there too at that event in New York.
On Saturday, May 16th, Brooklyn will come alive with live acoustic performances from some of Grenada's top local acts, setting the stage for an evening that celebrates culture, cuisine, and community. Set in an atmosphere of refined elegance, guests will enjoy a curated Caribbean culinary experience. The evening will also feature a special keynote address by the Honorable Dickon Mitchell, Prime Minister of Grenada. This premier fundraising affair promises an unforgettable experience where flavor, music, and purpose come together for a truly meaningful evening. Tickets are available now on GoToFate and Eventbrite. Secure yours early and be part of an extraordinary night. Spice Indulgence, an evening of heritage, connection, and impact.
Yes, so don't forget Spice Indulgence. Remember, it's on May the 16th. All right, my good friend Jerry Hopkins, he did send me something from, promoting the event in Canada, right? In Canada, but it's quite lengthy, right? And because you have all the sponsors in the background, I try not to feature that too much, right? Because of him, I try to give it a little promo, but it's a good thing for Grenada. But it has a lot of ads and so on. I don't do ads. All right, I promote events that are connected to the Prime Minister, connected to the NDC and so on. But I will give it a little push tonight again.
The celebration of all things Grenadian. Showcase Grenada Exhibition 2026, Sunday, April 12th, 1 p.m. to midnight.
Any chance you see I get, I go in Grenada.
Presented by the Grenada Independence Planning Committee in collaboration with the Consulate General of Grenada in Toronto. Hosted by Fatman George. This exciting event features live performances from renowned artists like Talpri.
Welcome to the Top Nation. It's not your imagination.
And Alma Boy, alongside other various artists, Kenny C, Michael Brown, PJP, 473 Odie, Leon Spice, Hudson George, Corey Ross, and Tessa Ann. It's happening at the JCA, 995 Arrow Road, North York, Ontario. Indulge your taste buds with authentic Grenadian food, including the famous oil down, fresh produce, spices, and more. Enjoy thrilling entertainment from steel pan music, drumming, dancing by the Spice Isle dancers, and traditional mass performances like shotney, plus poetry and comedy. Families are welcome. There are plenty of activities for children to enjoy. Explore booths from local vendors and learn about tourism, investment, and trade opportunities in Grenada. It's only $10 for adults. Children 12 and up, $5. Children under 12, absolutely free. This event is made possible by our sponsors: the Grenada Tourism Authority, Sheridan Cyrus Dentistry, the Caribbean Camera, Six Senses Lasajet, Kalinago Beach Resort, Lux Modern Residential Living, HBBS Auto and Equipment Leasing, Gem FM, Mr. Lawnmower, and Ride Go. Don't miss out on this vibrant cultural showcase. Mark your calendars and join us for a day filled with joy, culture, and community at Showcase Grenada Exhibition 2026.
Yes, so folks, I will pull the curtain down at this point in time. I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful night. I'll be back with you tomorrow, God's willing,